andata?
Ecco, ecco. Eccoci.
Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome back to Creative Mornings in this new location for just today. And then next one will be in another location and so on, thanks to our sponsor that we will present in a little while. So, thanks to our main sponsor, as usual, Chief, we just let out the new benchmark report if anyone is interested in checking it out. Creative Mornings right now counts a lot of cities in the world. We also know that some of our communities are facing difficult times at the moment. So let's just give a thought about everyone that is trying to stay creative in any situation around the world. Since we are in a different location, I want to check out with you our creative manifesto that we are not reading every time. So everyone is creative, and to be creative, we need to be brave. And I think that also waking up really early on this hot day is kind of bravery too. We believe in the power of community, so I'm really thankful. I'm really glad that everyone is here, and I'm also glad that everyone is following us on the streaming. Or I'm also thinking about the people who is going to check this out later. Maybe they are still sleeping. It's not creative enough. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose. I hope this is a good way to start your day with passion and purpose too. Welcome to everyone. So, I have special thank yous to give today. First of all, our team. Not everyone is here, and not everyone is here yet, because I hope we will find new members soon. Thanks to our main sponsor, Tangity, which hosted us a lot of times, and we will host us also next time. And now I give the word to our new sponsor, Hugo, who is responsible for this fantastic location today.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. I really like this collaboration because actually it takes into account two different souls that we also have in our startup. We have an office, a startup that actually born in September. How we like to say we are a network shaping the future of work. What we meant by this, basically we are a network not only made by people, but also made by location in concrete terms. So far we are in Milano with 9 locations that are free accessible in terms of agility, flexibility, through super flexible membership. All the people, modern professionals and workers are able to meet in our locations, work together, cooperate, and build their own ideas. So what we're aiming to create is actually a network, both of location and peoples, in this new ecosystem where agility and flexibility is the key of our lives. And especially after COVID, where actually work-life balance and flexibility are turning key points in our lives. So Ostello Bello is our most recent location that joined our network, and is the 9th. Actually, in a month, we are opening in Rome, and pretty soon we will be able to be in Bari. So actually, are having a big project, and I really hope that you all people will like to try out this new startup. Also because we are providing a lot of free trials, a lot of free entrances that you can see on the website. And basically, that's it. You can just check out our Instagram page, LinkedIn page, whatever, and feel free to join also because it's really full of freelancers and creatives like you, and that's it. I think this is our main core.
Okay. Hi.
I'm Silvia, and I'm a part of the Creative Morning Milan. The June theme is wilderness. So every month is different, and this theme is chosen by Chattanooga, the city of Chattanooga in Tennessee, and illustrated by Holly Chasten. I think we do not exist separate from the wild, even if we are here in Milan. So I have the pleasure to introduce our guest. Laura Garzoli is a researcher at CNR, Israel National Research Council of Italy, Water Research Institute of Urbania. She's a biologist and microbiologist expert in bat conservation. So today we discover how bats contribute to bring wilderness in our urban landscapes, also in Milan. And we want to help and protect them. And now, let's start. An applause to Laura Garzoli.
Thank you for inviting me here today to talk to you about bats. I need a moment to start my presentation. Okay. I'm a researcher, as Silvia said, at the National Research Council of Italy. And my expertise are bats, among other things, and I work in close collaboration with the Stazione Meteorologica Piemontese, which I thank for the informatics that they provided me. And this is the institute I work in. It's in Lake Maggiore, and it's northwest Italy, and it's a very nice location. And at this research institute, there are many research fields from antibiotic resistance to nature conservation to microbiology. So feel free to surf our website and to discover more about this research center. And bats, of course, if you think about bats, many myths and legends and illustrations comes into your mind. And in our culture, like European cultures, let's say, bats are linked to demons, to devils. If you think about a devil, then it has bat's wings. These are historical illustrations, and as you can see, devils, it is not working, but devils has bat's wings, and of course Dracula has been taken by Bram Stoker's after an indigestion of shrimps, so he wrote about bats, but I would really prefer he would have wrote about shrimps, so I would not have so many problems in conserving my bats. So let's talk about these myths and understand how can we maybe change our minds about these legends. In scientific terms, they are called Chiloptera, which means hands with wings. So as you can see here, it is really like our hands, so thumbs and the other fingers, so with these membranes. And bats are the only mammals able of active flight. So if we think about that, if we would have had wings, they would not have been birds' wings, like angels, but actually bats' wings. And they are not rats with wings, like Ratablon, they say in Milan, I know. But from a genetic point of view, they are really similar to dogs and cats. They live up to 40 years, and they are really very distant from mouse and rats. And there are almost 1,400 species worldwide. We have 40 species, almost 40 species here in Italy, and 29 in Piedmont. The smallest one is called bumblebee bats, and you can see here again these kids. It weighs less than 1 cent coin, and the biggest one has a wingspan of almost 2 meters, and it has been used in the old movies to make the flying Dracula in the 16 movies about Dracula. They was actually filming these bats flying, and it eats fruits. so it is not eating on blood. So our bats here in Italy and in Europe are really small. They are almost like this wingspan, and this big, and this is a very nice one. And I particularly like this. And they are kind of vegetarian. They do not feed on blood. They feed on insects, and they are very appreciated. This is a very nice picture of Francesco Grazioli. And among the very variety of insects in their diets, and among which, as you know, there are several insects that are really not like humans, and you can see here mosquitoes, but also pests for agriculture. And this is Popillia japonica. If you go on the autogrid, then you see this the images, because this is really a pest for agriculture, and you need to be careful not to bring this around and help in control this pest population. So another myth is that bats like climb into your hair, they attach to your hair, and this is really not true. I work in several bats roosts, and they never attach to your hair. Just they need to climb up so they can fly. And so this is probably the beginning of this myth, but it is really not true. And they are not blind. They can see, but they prefer to like listen, like they echolocate. So they emit ultrasounds, and they hear the ultrasound and how they change in respect to the space. So they have like a sound vision of the environment. And I don't know if there is audio here, but sometimes you can listen to them. No, you cannot listen to them. There is one species in Italy that emits in the audible sound, and you can actually listen to this bat species at night. And so when they chat to each other, they also emit in the audible sound, so you can actually listen to bats conversate at night. So just a quick look at what they do during the year. They hibernate in winter, so you can actually see them if you go on a cave, and if you see them, you really need to contact a bat expert, because these sites are really protected, because bats are protected species. They are threatened of extinctions. Many species are at risk of extinction. So if you see some bats hiding in winter, they are sleeping, like in this case, and if you enter, you can wake them up. So it is really a bad thing, because they cannot survive until the spring if you wake them up like 2-3 times a winter. So you need to be very careful and not to disturb them. And in spring, they migrate in summer sites. Some of them move just a few kilometers. Other bat species are raker species. They move up to 2,000 kilometers. And this has been studied. This is really amazing. And you have the females that goes together on the same side, the same summer rooster, and they give birth to the small bats, while males stays on the other side, so they separate female from one side and male from the other side. And they give birth in May, June. You can see here, these are all female bats. And this is attached to the mother. And also in this case, if you see this kind of bats, you really need to contact an expert, because these are really protected species. They have not many rules like that, and they really need to be protected. And then this is the very strange things. They mate in October, but the birds are in the next spring. So bats are studied for several scientific purposes, also in relation to assisted fertility, because they mate in September, they hibernate, and then they give birth to cubes in the next summer. And they are the heterothermos mammals. So this is really weird. During the day, their body temperature is 20 degrees. Then when they have to fly, their body temperature is almost 40 degrees.
And when they hibernate, they lower their body temperature up to 4 to 12 degrees. So they are heterotherms, so like not like us, that we are homotherms. So why should you care about that as well? Because it is like the rights of future generations to have nature and biodiversity preserved for their own rights. It's your rights. So it is not always good to have a utility linked to nature conservation. But if you see this picture, like we are talking about ecosystem services. So what nature can do for you, so what service nature provides to you, how it contributes to your well-being. So as for bats, in several countries of the world, they are pollinators because they are fruit eaters. They are responsible for seed dispersal. They control arthropod populations, also in our agriculture. I have a project financed by the Barilla Center for the Nutrition Foundation that puts bat boxes in agriculture to fight agricultural pests. And they are inspiration for novel technology. As you know, the sonars, the biosensors are all inspired by bats. And in other cultures, bats are good fortune. For example, in China, they are good fortune. I don't know now, but they were good fortune before. And as an example, just in the US, they are responsible for pest control, and they make farmers pay up to $30 billion a year just in the US as a pest control service. And what hurts bats? What are the tricks to bat conservation? Bats are protected by the law. They have been protected in Italy since 1939 because the king understands the importance of bats in fighting malaria. And now if you disturb them, you can even go to jail. Well, this is in theory, but it never happens. But in theory, law protects this much bats. And the pesticides in agriculture, they have been responsible. I don't know if you know about Italian Springs. Pesticides were responsible for massive deaths of wildlife. And this is an example of this species. Since the introduction of DDT, that is also harmful for humans, the population of really collapsed. This is why they have mainly faced this risk of extinction, because pesticides are still used. And also habitat degradation and destruction from this landscape has transformed in years in these landscapes. So here they can drink, they can find places to hide, and in this kind of environments, there is no place to hide, they cannot migrate. For example, they are not free to reach the water because there are no connection between forest and water, for example, in our Padana Plain, where the agricultural landscape dominates. And also this is true even in our urban landscapes. Big trees as cavities, as places in which bats can hide. And if you cut the trees and you replace, like for the security, you replace this small tree, bats, but also birds and insects do not have places to hide. So in our urban landscapes, this is very important. And you can see here, these are some of the places where bats can hide in trees, like under the cortex of the trees, its holes. And also in urban landscape, there are several problems related to pigeons. For example, these things cannot allow bats to enter their traditional roosts. The lightning of monumental buildings. Monumental buildings were places in which bats could have gone because they are not disturbed by people at night. There are not many people go there, but lighting is really a problem. So monumental lighting is a problem to bat conservation. Touristizations of cave. I don't know if any of you has ever gone in some touristic cave. For example, they say here there was a huge amount of guano, and now there is not because they put lights, people go in now. Also, windmills. Windmills should be carefully designed, otherwise they can harm wildlife. Because if you put a windmill into a migration corridor for bats or birds, and you do not evaluate carefully this, the wildlife can impact on this breeding. So I'm not against it, but this needs to be carefully designed. And light pollution, as I said, light pollution is the alteration of the natural darkness. And this is a problem, not only for bats, but also for you. You have the right to see the stars. And with light pollution, you don't have this right because you cannot see the light. And this is a problem for migrating birds, for example, because they orientate with the stars and they cannot if this emission is too high. And also for birds, for bats. This was an image used in the Milan Expo, and it was probably sure, but as you can see, Italy suffers from light pollution, and this is a problem that is increasing also for human health, because light pollution alters your melatonin cycles, so you can also have cancer because light pollution, and this is something that it has been is in progress of being addressed by the EU Commission and Italy. But we do not have enough attention on this problem. And there is a barrier effect for bats. They are more exposed to predators. Insect biodiversity is affected by light pollution. And of course, threats to bats are ignorance and vandalism. Of course, this has been increased since the COVID pandemic. That I can tell you, this is not really true. What you read about bats and the relation to pandemic, that we can have time to discuss later. But there is no bats that actually transmit you COVID, for example. But you read them every time that you open a newspaper. You read this kind of news. So what can we do to help them? If a bat enters into your house, this is not a solution. So there are ways for you to keep the bats safe and to let them out. One thing is, do not shout, open the window, switch off the lights, and the bats will find a way to go out. Because if you shout, they cannot echolocate because we're disturbing the echolocate and they cannot find the exit. Bats live in the urban landscapes, in all these kind of places that maybe you don't even know that they are there in your house. So how can you know that the species that you see here, usually these are the species that live in your house, are there? Well, you need to be a little careful of traces of animals, wildlife animals. So you can see here the bat guano, maybe next to your windows. And this is different from mouses guano, because the guano of bats is made entirely by insects, so it really, how do you say, it is not that hard as the bat, and it's usually under your window. And if you have the lucky to have bats in your house, then you can collect this guano and use it on your garden plants, like on your terrace. And if you go on Amazon, you see there are bat guanos sold at very high prices, so you are lucky enough to fertilizer directly to your house. And there are ways to close the windows that do not allow pigeons, but they are friendly to bats. And as I said, you can help us in finding bats, not the one that flies and lights at night, but if you see a bat hanging in winter, or if you see this kind of colonies, this is a house next to a vibra. I don't know how to say it, but this is a house, so they are helping us in conservating bats. This is the Isla Bella Island. If you go on Stresa and see the Isla Bella Island, the prince has his own private bat colony. And if you look at the Isla Bella Island, this is dark because they accepted to switch off the light and to have bat conservation. Oh, yeah. This was part of a European project to help bats. This is the species there. If you go on the Safarda Abbey in Cuneo, you can see a bat colony when they are there because they put the screen inside the colony, and from outside you can actually see this. And so the bats are also tourists. It has become a tourist attraction in Safarda. And if you find an interest bat, there is Tutela Pipistrelli for Italy that helps the bat help to recover. You can call your national center, and you can help fighting light pollution. This kind of light emits on the up. The light is dispersed towards the sky, and you can replace the lights into your house so they cannot emit on towards the sky, but towards the soil. So these are kind of friendly lights. And you can even turn your garden into a bat heaven. There are a lot of books about this. You can plant plants that helps bring the insects that are really appreciated by bats and so on. So that if you go on internet and you find this, it is really downloadable. This is the website of the person that I work with, the Centro Regionale Lottery. It is in Italian, and there is almost everything known for Italy for bats. And this is my research group. If you have some things that you want to know, this is my email address. And I want to finish my presentation with a small video I've made for the gorilla. I know that you are all filmmakers, so I've made PowerPoint. So be merciful, and I hope it works. It always not work. No, it is not working. Okay. And this is big. Really small. This, because usually you imagine them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.